Hi guys, welcome back to Creep Designs by Twitch. This one is a little out of the ordinary because I did originally start doing this video as part of the upcoming Ug Ugly Duckling Challenge, but I got my dates wrong and I've actually got longer to get it done than I'd planned, so I didn't really want to settle for this piece once I figured that out. So I will find an uglier piece for the challenge and this will just be, you know, what it is. So just a quick shot of what I'm working with, not in the best condition, but let's see what I can come up with for it. Alright, let's get started. Now, I know a lot of people are going to look at this piece and think that they'd just throw it straight out, and yeah, it is probably a piece of crap, but I'd like to make it useful again. So giving it a really good dust off first to get all of those cobwebs and daddy long legs out of there. And then once I've got all of that out of the way, I'm just going to start taking parts off of it that I'm not going to be keeping, starting with these handles. I have no use for them, so they are going straight in the bin. I was planning on removing the hinges and cleaning the doors up, but I had a really hard time getting the hinges off the actual inside of the cabinet part. And they weren't in the best condition, and I decided to just get rid of the doors altogether. Now that all those parts are off, I'm giving the whole piece a really good scrub with Millie Clean Cut. Once I've gone over it with that, I'll then go over it with clean water and a clean rag to get rid of any residue. Because these drawers have black paint all over the sides and the back of the front, I'm removing the drawer fronts to make it easier to get it all cleaned up and looking nice. Whilst I'm not trying to get this piece looking perfect, I do want to try and repair as much as I can on it so that it's not completely falling apart. So the two separate panels on the side of this piece weren't sitting flush, so I just got a piece of scrap plywood, put pre-drilled 2 screws in it, and put 1 screw either side of the split and screwed it in tight, and that pulled it flush. Okay, I didn't go into great detail with the repairs because they were pretty straightforward and self-explanatory, I think, and I didn't really want this to be a half-hour long video just on repairing a fairly, crappy piece like this. Anyway, I got all of that bogged up the split down the side a bit because there was still a bit of a gap there. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I did also decide to get rid of the doors altogether because the inside of them was in crappy condition and the hinges were horrible, so I decided to just ditch that and make it an open shelf kind of situation. So I've allocated the holes for the shelf supports, bogged up everything else, including the holes for the hinges, and I ran out of builder's bog, so I just used wood putty to fill in these staple holes on the base. I think that was it. And just to explain what was going on here, because you obviously couldn't see it very well, the split in this side, they were offset, the side pieces, so to pull it straight I just put a piece of ply there with some pre-screwed screws in it to make my life easier. And if you can see, the split is there, so which sits in between the two screws, so when I tighten the screws it pulled it flush. It's a little bit off down the bottom, but that's a minor detail, and it's, you know, it's now held together a lot better than it was. Okay, so I've received a package from Amazon. Some lovely person has purchased these items for me. So this is a little mouse. It's got vertical and horizontal levels, spirit levels in it, and it also has a freaking laser beam, so I can get nice straight lines. So that's pretty nifty. And also got this little glue bottle. Thank you to whoever purchased those for me. If anyone else wants to have a look at my Amazon wish list, you don't have to. You know, I do appreciate anyone who purchases items for me from my Amazon wish list. If you don't want to purchase anything, you can also just go there to have a look at what I've got on my list. You might find something there that you want for yourself. You never know. But yes, thank you. So I had an idea in mind of what kind of look I was going for, and I ended up with this mess and not happy with it at all. So that's all disappearing, and I'm just going with what's that? Deep waters on the outside and ow, my thumb. Pebble grey on the inside, and I'm just going to keep it simple because I've already wasted way too much time on this piece. Okay, so I changed my mind again and I didn't go with Pebble Grey. I ended up going with Robyns Egg in the mineral paint range. Robyns Egg is a very soft, very soft, like kind of bluish green duck egg maybe. I'm not good at this kind of stuff, colours and stuff like that, but yeah, I did 3 coats of this and it came up lovely. At this point I was still using deep waters on the outside part of these, but stay tuned because we're not sticking with this. Okie dokie. So, on Friday, I was working on this, and this is what I've ended up with, and I wasn't happy with it. I think my main problem is I didn't go into this project with a clear vision of what I wanted it to look like, not even any clue of what I wanted to do with it. And it wasn't working out how I was hoping, and I just wasn't happy with it. It wasn't working with me, and I kept second guessing myself, and it just wasn't going how I wanted. It was getting me down, bumming me out. It was bumming me out, man. And rather than continuing with it and getting myself into a really big funk and getting myself depressed about a piece of furniture, I decided to drop everything. I literally just threw everything down right where they were. Paintbrush, roller, didn't bother washing anything, just dropped it, and went and got myself an iced latte and went home for the day. Which is unusual for me because I'm a worker. I work, it's what I do. Anyway, so I spent the weekend working on my car. I'll put some photos up to show you before and after. The before is very embarrassing, but it's looking better now. I'm making the best of what we've got until we can afford to buy a new car. But I spent the weekend working on a different project, and I'm coming back Monday morning with an iced latte and hopefully a clearer mind and a clearer idea of what I want to do with it. This was going to be for the Ugly Duckling Challenge, but I also realised that I've actually got an entire extra month of time to get that done, so I'm going to find a better piece for it because it deserves it. So I'm going to just slap some paint on this, get it done, and it will go to our place for storage. Alright, here's to a better day. So this wallpaper was brought for me by Angela on my Amazon wishlist. I'll put the link for it in the description. I probably should have, not used it on this piece because it's just going to our place, but you know what? The colours worked well and I wanted to use it, so here I am using it. Do not use this instance as an example of how to do this because I buggered it up a bit. It was a bit wonky and left a gap at the bottom, but you can't even notice it because the background colour of the wallpaper blends in quite well with Robin's egg. So for the top and the shelf, I'm using Millie washed away stain in the colour Coffs Jetty. Now I usually do exactly what I'm doing here and I brush it on and then wipe it back with a clean rag, but I was finding that now that it's starting to warm up again and the top on this was quite dry, I benefited from misting the surface first before brushing the stain on. It seemed to help me get an even finish on it. I decided to give the top some extra protection by using Millie Hemp salve. But because of how little I use my wax brush, it was very hard and stiff and it was really hard to use, so I ended up putting that aside and just using my hand to apply the oil, and it worked so much better and was actually quite enjoyable. If I look disappointed, it's because I just spoke for about 10 minutes and then realised I wasn't recording. So, is it my style? Absolutely not. Would it sell relatively easily if I painted the insides of the drawers and, spent more time on it? Probably would. But we need something like this in our house for our towels and stuff, so it's going home with me. Where I went wrong with this piece, I think I stuffed up by not going into it with a clear idea in mind of what I wanted to do with it. And I think lately I'm burning myself out by trying to get a video out each week and rushing through projects and not actually stopping and putting the time and effort that I would usually put into pieces in designing them and finishing them to a standard that I'm happy with. So I'm going to make an effort to slow down and take each project at a time and do them to a standard that I'm happy with, even if it means not getting a video out each week. I started painting furniture for myself, for my mental health, and so that I had something to do. And starting the YouTube channel was kind of just a byproduct of that, and I need to remember that and go back to doing what I love most, which was working on furniture. And I'm starting to resent it because it's just, I'm constantly chasing my tail. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. All of the products I've used on this piece, including the ones that didn't make the final cut, will be in the description. I'll do them in 2 separate lists so to make it easier for you. Including, I'll put the wallpaper in the description as well. The knobs won't be there because I don't know where they came from. They were given to me by Angela. And I think that just about covers it. I will be doing a video it'll be a Q&A video. I'm not going live. I don't want to do live videos. I think I'm too vulgar for live videos. So I'll be doing a Q&A video soon-ish, hopefully. What else? Oh, I got a pot of, this is for my fellow Aussies more than it is for our friends across the pond. I got a pot of the Kmart chalk paint the other day, and I'm going to be doing a comparison video of Kmart chalk paint and Carts and Millie paint. So there's been a lot of hubbub about the Kmart chalk paint, so I want to see what it's like for myself so I can form a valid opinion on it. And yeah, I'll share my findings with you. So let's see how that goes. That's what's coming up anyway. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.